course, there's fear about cancer, but there's another fear too. Will I be able to afford the treatment? That's a very big issue in our country, isn't it? Private hospitals, you refer to them as money sappers. Am I right in your book? Yeah. And the fact that most middle class people can't afford those treatments, and the only option you have is really to go to a hospital where there's a great rush of people, where you don't necessarily get the attention that you deserve and need. So how do you see that playing out, Dr. Maheshwari? What do we need to change this?
In fact, the intricacies of healthcare system insofar as cancer is concerned, it's a really serious concern and we have to look into it. And even you go to any institution, if it is high-end treatment, many of us cannot afford. That's what the question I dealt with. And more dangerous is the market forces which are playing in this. I mean, it really disturbed me. There's no accusations to the medical fraternity. But then we definitely found a drug which costed single dose 1.25 lakh, and the marketing manager of that firm is ringing up 10 times a day कि नहीं sir, ये तो बहुत बढ़िया है, इसके single dose से हो जाएगा. So we can understand after all, or maybe that I'm in pullers, I doubt everybody, maybe. But then the point is that such a large set of people, from where the margins are coming, and why in this? Because you buy the fear of the people. Okay, if I don't do I lose the relative. So there's something called some ethical issues are there, and these needs to be, I think, whosoever are in the authority, whosoever are responsible, even the doctors have to go out of the way in certain respect. Okay, let's find and take those protocols. And I can tell you that even classical protocols, which are the low cost, even they are very effective, provided, as she said, you get a right doctor who rightly advises you, finds a combination, and you can really keep the cancer at bay. But there are many quick fixes, and if somebody says, okay, do this miracle, look for the miracle. So those I totally agree. We have still to find a solution because of the cost factor. And maybe that I am wrong. I should be proved wrong. But my experience was, yes, definitely there are market forces, and the big margins playing, and that is not what should be done by anybody. There should be general ethics in every profession. Let's be professional. I mean, that's my request to everybody from this dais. And in my experience, at least I did face, maybe I'm proved wrong and I wish I'm proved wrong. But then the question of ethics in medical treatment, as well as those who are connected with the medical healthcare system as a supplier, definitely the issue needs to be addressed.
Dr. Surui, you're one person who has been fighting for the cancer patient with limited resources.
I have everybody doing whatever they want to do, and exactly what Dr. Maheshwari is saying. So this is something that has to be regulated very urgently, because cancer is going to take heart as the problem by 2020 as per the WHO statistics. That's why these centers are mushrooming up.
Right, so it's seen as a commercial opportunity, but I think, as you say, there has to be accountability. I think
transparency.
And transparency, because if we have that, we can do things better. We learn from our mistakes, as we all know. We are human, and a doctor is as human as anyone else and will make mistakes. Perhaps this is why, Manisha, in the West, institutions are often turned to for a second opinion, because people seem to trust their systems better. What was your experience being treated in one of those institutions?
I have no complaints, and in fact I was diagnosed in Nepal, and then I was rushed to Jaslok Hospital in Mumbai, and when it looked like it was really complicated surgery, that's when we decided to go to Sloan
University. And firstly I want to say that my father is a cancer patient, and when he got diagnosed with cancer in 2006, it was multiple myeloma, 3rd stage bone marrow cancer, and doctor said that you have 60 days left. And then he replied that, dear doctor, please mind your language, I will live 60 healthy years. I want to say that a positive attitude and a strong willpower, you can achieve anything. Even a disease like cancer cannot stop you for doing what you want to do. And my question is simple, that I want to ask that like there are so many private hospitals and the cost, you know the cost. So what else can be done other than the treatment from abroad? And even like he is still suffering from cancer and 5th line treatment, and the 2 drugs they are not legalized in India, but they are in America. And in America, if you want the treatment, then you need at least 2 crores of Indian rupees. How a common man can afford that? And why India is not doing anything? We all are Indians, why we are not doing anything? Like, why those 2 drugs which are desperately needed in India, but they are not, and a person who wants the treatment, he can't get the treatment.
Dr. Srohi, would you like to take that question?
See, the cancer treatments are very, very expensive, especially the new ones that come along from the West. And I have had patients where treatments cost 16 lakhs a month, which is absolutely none of us can afford it. So when they come, they are very expensive. And that's what I said, we need to do our own research. What Dr. Maheshwari said, we have to do our research which is cost effective. So cost effective means, we don't have to go for something which is very expensive. The biology is different of the cancer in the East and the West. I think that is the way forward. India needs to come up, but if you don't have your baseline, how will you, build upon it for research? So we need to start there. We haven't started. Some centers have started, and let's see, hopefully in the next few years it will happen.
Yes, there's a question there. Have you got, there's a gentleman here, yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Srohi, the way you're talking of cost effectiveness of this drug, have you ever tried for an Indian medicine system called Ayush, the way Baba Ramdev claims, Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, and all this? Why not try all these things?
No, we have. In fact, in Tata Hospital, they are doing research with curcumin, and in fact, Dr. Moni Kuriakose is also doing with haldi, with curcumin. They're looking at all those things, and I strongly believe that, we should do our own research, and doing it with Ayush would be a great idea. But we have to do it in a proper way, not recommend them with no evidence. Right now, we don't have the evidence. So once it comes, we will recommend it, and it has to be peer reviewed as well.
May I add to it a bit, Tanya? Now the theory is very simple. 2 things, I am not a doctor, but as a layman and being associated with this, 2 things I have learned. That your immunity gets hit. Whatever you can do to boost your immunity, maybe that you are not dealing with the cancer.
Do that,
but
yeah.
if you increase your immunity by whatever way, people have done experiment with asparagus, they have done experiment with wheat grass, even the tulsi has been found. I have no scientific evidence, but yes, there have been live cases who have been successful. Very rare, but yes. So even as the possibility exists, number 1. And number 2, as I said, that lifestyle management, when we are doing this, I'm not, even in Ayurveda, there are so many herbs in Indian science, the Vedic era, that we have forgotten. Only when the West says something, they said that we are doing this, then we realize, okay, tulsi and turmeric and this are important. But if you go into the Vedic science, even the basic herbs, many of the herbs, they increase the immunity. And if you can do that, then you can endure and delay the process of cancer. That I have definitely found, and even we tried, and it definitely did, what the pain and suffering it comes from, because on the other end, even if you are not killing the cancer, but you are increasing the immunity, so the patient is able to survive for long. That I have been a bit of witness, and I believe, I can't do the scientific data, but that is what I wanted to add.
So we need to generate that.
We have to generate that.
You know, so 30 minutes of exercise decreases the risk of breast cancer and colon cancer coming back by 20 to 30%. We've done the study and shown that. So same way we need to do with Tulsi and other things here.
Anyone else want to add?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, this is
Myself, Praveen. My question is for Dr. A.P. Maheshwari. Why did you name your book Into the Oblivion?
Okay, what does it mean to you? To me, it means nothingness, right? Why did I? Because as I lived with my mother, see, you see a circle, and in circle there is a dot, which is the center of the circle. When your grasp, absorption, assimilation in life increases, even that small center becomes a big circle. And then again you are able to find a center within a center. This endless process goes on as you absorb more and more realities of life. And that is how I define the life as infinite. There is nothingness which we define. And when we came to this, okay, we have to accept the death. When we came to it, yes, the mother has to go. Then how do you prepare the person to go? Let off. The art of living to art of dying. The art of living to art of living. It's a tremendous art. And in fact, in one of the places I was called to give a talk, they said, sir, will you speak on art of living? I said, no, I will speak on art of dying. That time I was working in CRPF. People thought that I'll be talking about how the soldiers are fighting and how they are giving away their life. I said, no. The art of dying is every moment, some cells are dying within me. Even if you see a river, it is not the same, the water has changed. We have died every moment there's a death is coming. If you see scientifically also. Many things are happening and cognitions and the thoughts and everything. How do you mature? Now, this is not the forum that I go in for that, but that precisely answers that when you really assimilate with the life, your power to see beyond within increases. And then you find that many things are just the transition. You accept the reality with a happiness as a challenge, and you think, and finally, because I could see that, I could believe in it, that death is the only positive forward leap a person makes in life. Because that's the ultimate you have to reach. And when you win over, I won't go into this, but if anybody interested, I'm available and I'm ready to discuss.
Yeah, you should discuss it later on with Dr. Maheshwari. There's a question here.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is Satish. I've had a couple of people in the family. To Priya, this is a question. Are you also thinking of having a registry of hospitals or doctors on their rate of success or ethical practices? That was one. And the second was that I find that there's dyslexia in the doctors, the oncologists and so on, in referring. And in my case, I had to refer to Dr. Noori, where your mother was, and then to Sloan Catering for alternative, and the doctors washed their hands off here. And they said, it's up to you. I said, at least have a talk, and they refused. So how are you trying to manage this dyslexia, especially as the doctor said that they have to be educated onto this front? So these were the two questions.
We haven't yet gone into the aspect of doctors really, and I think that's something which I haven't ventured into. My focus has been in building the bone marrow registry as well as a platelet donation registry, which are the two very important things for cancer patients. And but your idea of having a registry with references of doctors, I think is a very good idea. And I think there is a registry, or not a registry, a website on information on cancer with a lot of doctors on board. That I don't remember the name, but there is someone who's developed it, and but I can't really comment on that.
Dr. Surya, you'd like to say something?
Second opinion is your right, as a patient. So getting a medical report from your doctor is your right, and you should demand it. And then, where you take a second opinion from is entirely up to you.
But I understand sometimes egos get in the way. And a doctor may think somehow you're questioning his diagnosis. But really, as Dr. Surya said, you do have that right. It's your life after all. and you have that right to ask for another.
When you buy a sari, you go and see 3-4 shops. So, you know, if you want to consult 2-3 doctors, why not?
Yes.
You know, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and I think doctors should welcome that really, and they should be working together towards that, because the final focus is the welfare of the patient. Any other questions?
Yes, this is Dr. Satyanarayan.
Yes.
Here. This is not exactly the questions, but is an observation. Incidentally, Dr. Surohi was telling one of the reasons for the cancer is the pan masala or pasan. Incidentally, the Rajinikanth is a partner for this event.
I know, that's why I said it. So that I don't want to take the name.
For kind information, I was not knowing what is Rajinikanth organization. But when I asked it at the counter, oh, you don't know it is a pan masala, pan pasan. They have given the kits. I think you can find that kits with hundreds of people who are not already into that pan masala or pan pasan. So in future, the Times of India should take care of these things.
No, I think you should.
Let me
Okay, number 2.
I just say, just be smart about what you want. If you want to use a mouth freshener, use a clove or cardamom or, you know, soft. Areca nut is a known carcinogen as per the WHO 1985. Carcinogen is something that causes cancer. So be smart about it. Don't have wrong choices.
My second observation, you told that one of the reasons for the, not only cancer, for any disease, the infection, I traveled wide both in India and abroad. Delhi is the most number of wayside hotels we are having. In front of Parliament, we can find a wayside hotel. In front of AIMS, we can find the hotel, wayside hotels. In front of any secretariat, anywhere. It has become inevitable and indispensable for the people to go and eat there because there is no economy and clean hotels in Delhi. Therefore, I request the platform to make a move to the, whether it is a MCD or a NDMC or a state government or the central government, they should think of this very seriously. This is a man-made commitment, a man-made havoc to the people.
Well, thank you for your suggestion.
Thank you.
Now, one last question. We have to wind up. There's a gentleman there. He's been waiting patiently. Oh, hello, this gentleman. Oh, it's him.
I am Asha.
Oh,
I have a question which I touched upon already. But before I say that, I want to tell you that my elder sister's son died short, 1 or 2 months short of...
can you just hold the mic, please? Yeah.
My elder sister's son died short of 24 in 98 of aplastic anemia. My mother contracted breast cancer when she was about 65, and she has died in 2013 at the age of 91. So I went with the flow because there was no way of knowing, this was more than 30 years ago, what to do. So I just did what was expected of me. And I have come here totally by accident because of my friend's interest. And I just wanted to know, is this Rajnikanda the pan masala? Because it doesn't say pan masala, it just says Rajnikanda. So is it different?
Areca nut is a component. So like I said, areca nut is a known carcinogen.
Okay, thank you.
Before we finish, I have one other pleasant duty. The co-author, I believe, of this book is here with us in the audience, Ms. Vanita Chandak. Could I just request her to just come up and say a few words before we close it?